NBFCs. It's been that kind of a day. Mayuresh, PSU banks, is a lot of people getting missed out feeling. A huge surge in the index itself and so many stocks rising so much. But at current levels, would you recommend buy on, say, a PNB or Allahabad Bank?
Afternoon, Anuj. I think it's a threefold expectation that we're probably witnessing on PSU banks. I think the expectations of capital infusion to come through, that is fueling a lot of the rally that we're probably seeing in PSU banks today. And the general expectations is that it's a figure more than 10,000 odd crores. I think that's going to abet a whole host of these banks with weak tier 1 CET ratios, PNB included in that. Secondly, I think you're probably expected to see asset quality stabilize this quarter. I think what was happening over the past 2 quarters in terms of the EQR is probably over on bank balance sheets, and you'll see much more stable numbers is what the street is believing in terms of asset quality. And third, even after the rally that we've seen in a whole host of these stocks, valuations are still inexpensive, and that is again justified because again the balance sheet growth is still not evident on these 3 stocks. So I think all 3 factors I think probably helping the PSU stocks move up. But again, I think I'll largely not be looking at buying PSU stocks at this point of time. It will be extremely selective within this space. I'll rather go for the large cap PSU ones at this point of time.
Okay, well, all these Amtech Group stocks are surging now. So you have not just Amtech Auto, but you have Rollertainers that's up quite a bit, and not up by about 5-6%. It's 15-20% returns that you're seeing. Metallist Forgings, all these stocks are up quite a bit. Remember, the management in the first week of June had indicated to us that over the next couple of months, they would finalize the sale of their German subsidiary Numeyer Tech4. I don't know if there is any news flow on that front, but at least the street is getting very, very excited. GMT Auto as well, up about 11%. But talking about the the mid-cap stocks, it has been all about mid-cap. So we can't end the show without talking about our mid-cap mania segment. Nigel D'Souza joins in as always to give us his mid-cap stock of the day. There was a lot of talk last week from market veteran Ramdev Agarwal and the road minister Nitin Gadkari on the Euro 6 norms. Nigel, what's the stock on your radar?
Well, Sonia, the stock that I'm talking about has been a bit of an underperformer, but as you said, positive commentary has been coming in, and the stock I'm talking about is Federal Mogul Goetz. What does the company do? They make pistons. They have close to around 40% in terms of market share, and also majority of their current sales, they are with regard to Euro 3 norms. Remember, we are going to be migrating to around Euro 6 by 2020, and that's really where the opportunity does lie, if in fact that does play out. So where's the opportunity? As you said, Sonia, the Ministry of Road as well as Road Transport and Highways, they have said that we're going to be migrating from Bharat Stage 4 to Euro 6. That means that, in fact, the pistons as well will have to change. And just at our CNBC TV18 Auto Summit last week, we had that kind of commentary coming in from Nitin Gadkari as well. He said that, in fact, they have also submitted a scrappage policy to the finance minister. So all this bodes well because they make pistons that adhere to Euro 6 norms. Moving on, then it's the only MNC in India that will get the technology coming in for its parent. We have other piston makers. I try to reach out to a few of them, but they'll be borrowing the technology coming in from global makers, whereas Federal Mogul will be getting it from its parent itself. Who is its parent? Also, Sonia, we have to keep in mind the monsoons. So much of talk about the monsoons. So if monsoons does play out, they get more than 50% coming in from commercial vehicles as well as from tractors. So that will help its cause. But talking about the parent then, the parent is Federal Mogul Corporation. That holds close to around 75% stake in the current listed company. Reliance Capital as well holds roughly around 8.5%, and LIC holds nearly around 2%. But the parent is 82% owned by investor Carl Icahn, and we know what he has done over the last few years. In early 2011 or thereabouts, he would try to sell the company. Now, if that happens, if in case it happens, there's no confirmation whatsoever. But as per SEBI rules, that will trigger a mandatory open offer even in the Indian listed company. That's only if it happens. But as things stand, he's trying to delist that company. In that case, there's no real big change to the Indian listed company. He's upped the price as well from around $7 to around $8. Moving on then to the peer comparison, I was looking at it and I said it's fairly expensive because it trades at around 40 times its trailing earnings. But all the stocks, if you take a look at it from the similar segment, all of them trade at around 30 to around 76 times, something like a Timken India. But you look closer, and if you compare the market capitalization to the sales, you'll see that then, in fact, it may not look very, very expensive because it's trading at 1x in comparison to market to sales. Also, EV upon EBITDA, if you look at it on that front, it's trading at around 12.5, 13 times EV upon sales, while we have Bosch that's trading at around 35 times, 20 times. So it's not very cheap, But you look at a couple of parameters and you get somewhat of a mixed signal. What are the drawbacks? If things are looking so good, then in FY16, why did we get a degrowth coming in from there? You compare FY16 in comparison to FY15, you'll see there was a degrowth. What if all these norms don't really play out? Then maybe things will not really play out. And aluminium is a key raw material, so those prices have been moving up, could dent the margins. Finally, there is a bit of a land bank as well that I found online, around 50 acres. Value, we don't give much of a value, but in case of expansion, etc., maybe that could bode well. An interesting stock, but more a long-term play.
Okay, Nigel, thanks a lot for that. Again, a disclaimer that these are not stock recommendations, just interesting tidbits about certain stocks. Ashwini Gujral is back with us now. Ashwini, BTST ideas. The market is again breaking out at the high point. So will you go for all buys or any sells as well?
See, even after the open, if you bought, you are making money. So I don't think that was useless. But in fact, I think that we could move even further higher on the Nifty. So should carry long positions on Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. Now today, PSU Bank Index is up, almost 4%. So probably there's something going on in PSU banks or some news flow is expected. So SBI is a buy with a stop of 220, target of 235. BOB is a buy with a stop of 158, target of 172. And OBC is a buy with a stop of 120, target of 134.
Okay, well, look at that move on the market now. The Sensex is up more than 500 points and the Nifty is inching towards, okay, it has actually crossed that 150 point mark. After the good numbers from IndusInd Bank, seems like the sentiment has rubbed off on Kotak Mahindra Bank. Look at the intraday chart there. Sudden spike up is what you're seeing in Kotak Mahindra Bank now. And some other heavyweights are giving it company. You have TCS that's now moving to the high point of trade as well. We have Mehrabun Irani who also joins in. But before that, let's get a quick insight into what's happening in the dealing rooms this afternoon. Nimesh Shah is here with Trader Talk. Nimesh, is it all about the global rally? That's the reason our markets are getting so heated up, or is it, even the good numbers from IndusInd, etc.?
That's right. Clearly, this is global in nature. So there is a big breakout on the Nifty, which has led to this big outperformance. It's backed by global rally for sure. Even in terms of flows, if you just look at the feedback that I got was today's rally can be easily classified as a combination of aggressive short covering as well as some fund deployment as well. So maybe you'll see a buy figure from the FIs and the DIs in the cash market in today's trade, especially in the large cap names. I'm told there is money put to work. So that's one part of it. The other part is while we all spoke about the mid cap index hitting a new high, today there is a relative underperformance of the mid caps in trade today. So some bit of profit booking is clearly coming in the mid cap space in today's trade. So while the index looks good, there is some bit of beneath that index there is some bit of profit booking coming in. Having said that, the general sense I'm getting from the dealing desk is it looks like most of the positives are now gradually getting priced in. So whether it's good earnings, whether it's GST getting approved in the monsoon session, it looks like at this price most of the positives are priced in. So the risk reward is slightly turning unfavorable now from here to buy some new stocks. So that's something to watch out for. While there is this momentum which can take the Nifty another 200 points from here, so 8650 is pretty much possible from a technical point of view in the July series. But having said that, there is a bit of caution out there from the dealing desk. While the money is getting put to work in the large caps, it looks like there is some bit of distribution and profit booking coming in the mid cap and small cap space.
All right, Nimesh, thanks a lot for that. Yes, keep an eye on just not the FI number in the cash market, but also in the futures and options market, because the calls data would be interesting. We had seen a lot of call writing that could get covered. Mehrabun Irani is also with us. Mehrabun, good afternoon. What a surge for the market, and Brexit has been forgotten by all markets, so let's not even talk about it. But what next? Do you see this liquidity gush just taking markets back towards previous highs? Mid-cap index has already done that.
So Anuj, I agree fully with you. I think let's go just 3 weeks ago, a month ago, when we were talking of Governor Raghuram Rajan's exit and the way the markets would possibly take a tumble or react, at least the bank stocks. And then it was Brexit. I think the way the market has taken it in stride as of now, I think the market is clearly saying that I want to go higher. So let's not come in its way. I think I heard Nimesh also mentioning that a lot of the positives are factored in. But let's be honest again. Even at 200 points lower than where the levels are today, we were saying the same thing. A lot of positives are factored in. So I'm coming back to what you said is momentum. It's liquidity. There is hope that there will be more liquidity coming, especially in the global banking scenario because of Brexit and because of post-Brexit scenario. So this is taking the markets up. Short covering is happening. The point is it's a stock specific approach, a bottom-up approach. Trying to say that valuations are relatively more expensive than the rest of the world is one part of the story. The point is, as of now, the momentum is in favor of the markets going up further. And the best part, and I'm saying this absolutely out of experience, I don't see too much of complacency coming in. I still see people going out and trying to book profits because people are themselves questioning, does the market deserve going up so sharply? Till the time that sort of complacency doesn't come, I don't think a major accident is on the anvil, at least not in the very short term.
Okay, I want to ask you about your top recommendations for investors now. But before that, Varinder is also waiting by. There are lots of stocks buzzing around in the last 15-20 minutes. So he has a list of that. Varinder, over to you.
Well, Surya, you mentioned about all the MTech group stocks. Huge surge. And the important thing is huge volumes today in most of the stocks. MTech Auto, GMT Auto, Metallist Forging, Roller Tainers. Some of the new names which I picked up today. Piccadilly Agro Industries, Intense Technologies, that is up 20%. Polylink Polymers, Shiva Fertilizers, Pankaj Piyush Trading. Other small cap gainers who are buzzing good volumes today, look at Austin Engineering, up 20% good volumes. Asian Hotel East, again up 20% good volumes. Bal Pharma, Bharat Seed, Jyoti Structures, Reflex Refrigerants, Jindal Cotex, Eastern Trends, Atlanta, Venus Remedies, PB Infra, Radhe Developers, One Life, Indian Toners, Sankhya Info, Tokyo Plast International and Garden Sill. So the mid-cap gainers, Prime Focus, that stock has gained nearly 25% in the last 2 days, buzzing today as well. Peninsula Land, Cox & Kings was surging up by nearly 7-8%. Berger Paints, On Mobile, Captain Point and Rico India, which is on upper circuit today.
All right, Varinder, thanks a lot for that. Mr. Hussain, what next? I remember you had said 8,700 for this series. You stand by that, or are you tempted to increase the target even further?
Anuj, I'll stick to that, and in fact that was confirmed by me on Friday also, and where the buying call was given. But I for the time being, I'll stick to that, stick to the same level, because there is no point in rushing just seeing the up move of today. But I'm keeping the positive bias for the for the July series. Yeah.
Okay, positive bias for the July series. By the way, the Dow futures are also indicating that there could be another start in the green in those markets. So it's trading with gains of about 0.4% right now. And some of the European markets continue to trade higher. So the German market, for example, is up almost 130 odd points. So good going for global markets. Merbun, what are the top 2 or 3 stocks that you're recommending to buy now?
Well, I think I had mentioned this about a month and a half ago, that over the next 6-12 months, I see the PSU banks giving you the best opportunity to make money, but they will be trades. So I'm not going to recommend any specific PSU bank over here, though Oriental Bank and Allahabad Bank possibly stand out for a different reason. But I would like to stick to stocks which I had mentioned earlier, on which I have very, very high conviction, and I feel valuation was dirt cheap. Both are in the packaging sector. One is a company called Cosmo Films, where I had mentioned it about at 250 levels, went to 400, now at around 350 levels. I'd say a very conservative price estimate of around 450 to 500 for this stock over the next 2 quarters. We're expecting around 70 rupees earnings for this company, which could possibly go up to around 78 to 80 in 2017-18. And second is Maltech Packaging, a company which has a very decent, lovely profile of customers and which is expanding its own capacity over a period of time, and where I see a decent compounded growth coming for the company. And the present level of 198, 200 rupees, I think the stock has at least 30-40% upside over the next 1 year. So these 2 stocks I like. And sugar, I continue to like the space, and if there is a correction, I will recommend the same stock which I had mentioned a couple of months ago at 100 rupees. Today it's 155, 160. Is Dalmia Sugar, which I rate as the best sugar company possible in the country, and we have a conservative target of 190 for the stock.
Multech Packaging, not technology,
Multech
right?
Packaging.
Yes, that's up 2.5% right now at 196. Sudarshan, it's 84.72 now, so for this breakout is continuing. What are the next targets for the Nifty and also for the Bank Nifty, which is up 2.5% right now, or 2.2%?
Well, see, the Nifty doesn't lend itself to a specific target now because this is a breakout. But the earlier pattern suggests that a possible move towards 8600 is likely. That was also the target I had suggested when the series had started. So 8600 seems to be, and it's not very far away. Now we can get anything above 8600, but at that point I would start looking for profits rather than anything else.
Okay, we just have about 2.5 minutes left. So let's do one thing. Let's just wind down the day's trading action. No complaints at all. What a phenomenal day it's been for the bulls. More than 500 points higher for the Sensex. The Nifty is now just flirting with that 8,500 level, 8,470. And all of this on the back of very strong global cues that we had, Anuj.
And very high volume, Sonia. 17,000 crores. Today we could end the trend of institutional selling. It could be net positive, and I'll be watching out for the F&O data. Just point. The market has given, message loud and clear. Over the last many days, global markets, what kind of market we are in right now. The temptation would be to buy right now, but again, the sense you get is that maybe after today's gain, there will be some bit of consolidation, and that could be the entry point. But let's talk about the stocks that were higher today. Of course, 47 out of Nifty 50 stocks were in the green. So let me just quickly tell about the losing stocks. HCL Tech was down a bit, and Axis and IndusInd Bank were actually down. It normally happens on the day of IndusInd's earnings. Regardless of whatever it does, that day it falls because that's the trader's way of booking profit, and next day some fresh buying comes in. So that's IndusInd Bank. But if you take a look at the big gainers, Tata Motors was up 4%. The DBR caught up in last hour of trade. That was up 4%. But the real support for the market came from the bank Nifty. So ICICI Bank up 3%. You had SBI that was up about 2.5%, close to 3%. Kotak was up 2.5%. Other financials like HDFC also rallied, so that was up about 2.5%. HDFC Bank was up 2%. Yes Bank was up 2%. In most cases, we are closer to 52-week highs. And of course, the PSU banks, SBI and Bank of Baroda were both higher. The top Nifty gainer actually was Adani Ports, that was up about 5%. Then of course, you had Tata Steel, which was up 3%. Coal India was up 2.5%, Maruti, Hero MotoCorp, Bharti Infratel, so many stocks. Dr. Reddy's up 2%, Sun Pharma up 2% as well, and Larsen & Toubro up about 1.8%. So that's the large caps. The mid cap index, though it underperformed compared to the big gains, but still historic day because we had lifetime high today.
Oh yes, lifetime high for the mid-cap index, and many non-index large caps hitting new highs today. LIC Housing Finance at a fresh 52-week high. India Cements, M&M Financial, Bharat Financial Inclusion, SKS Microfinance, that is, Prime Focus, Berger Paints, HPCL, Lakshmi Vilas Bank, all these stocks hitting new 52-week highs. HDIL and Punjab National Bank were a couple of other stocks that rallied today. In fact, Punjab National Bank rallied on the back of the RBI increasing that FII limit on the stock. The Amtech Group stocks were another bunch that rallied. So Amtech Auto was up 15.5%. Roller Tainers was up almost 20-odd%. That pocket looked very good. Some of the beaten down names like Suzlon Energy also rallied almost about 6-odd% or so. On the downside, there were stocks just very few and far between. JP Associates came in for profit taking, so down about 4% there. Snowman Logistics under a bit of pressure. Ashok Leyland has been subdued ever since it came out with just a single-digit sales numbers in June, and JSPL is another one that was down almost about 1-odd%. But we wrap up what has been a great start to the earnings week. IndusInd Bank reported a solid set of numbers, and the market is on a high. In fact, the highest level on the Nifty since August of 2015. So we've covered quite a bit of ground in the past couple of weeks. But Mr. Tulsian, I wanted to ask you about the trigger for tomorrow. We have Quest Corp that will be listing tomorrow. And looking at the way it was oversubscribed 145 times, HNI portion almost 400 times. Do you expect a strong listing from that one?
Sonia, maybe the listing can come at around 520, 525, but I am expecting the profit booking to come in because the same repeat of the things we will be seeing. The HNIs, those who have applied, have all gone or having acquired the shares at the leveraging cost. The cost to them is closer to about 245, 250. They won't be making any money. All those allotments, having given to them has to get liquidated tomorrow by end of the day. So again, we will be seeing the stock maybe giving a listing at 525, but I won't be seeing the stock,
correcting to a level of 500 or maybe below that.
Okay, so that's Quest Corp, of course, to watch out for. Amrish, Merbun, are you recommending subscribe on L&T Infotech, or is that going to be an underperformer?
I think listing gains, certainly yes. They have left something for the investor, no doubt about it. But if you look at the business model, this is no great business to be in, possibly invested for the longer term time play. So I would like to compare this company to a Mindtree or maybe an Hexaware. And if I compare this, I would say it's being offered at around 25-30% discount to Mindtree. But let's understand one thing, Mindtree is the fastest growing company in the particular segment. So L&T has got nothing exclusive in it as a business model. So listing gains certainly yes. Buying on the appreciation it commands on listing into the open market, well, I won't like to take a call right now because it all depends what the listing price is. But a 705, 710, certainly there is money left for the investor.
And what's your view on Quess Corp? Post-listing, would you recommend it?
No, again, if the price is going to be around 500, 525, I don't think I'll be in a hurry to recommend this stock, because I believe one thing, Sonia, that there are IPOs of late have given super returns to investors, no doubt about it. But if I look back over the last 15, 20 years, I always believe IPOs after listing, you need to give them 2-3 quarters of performance before going and buying into it, because my experience is, and I'm quite sure my friend Mr. Tulsian at the other end also will agree, that quite a few of these IPOs come with lovely profits, lovely numbers for 1 or 2 quarters before they fizzle out. So it's too early right now to comment on it. So I would rather wait for 1 or 2 more quarters before recommending it. If it opens anywhere above 500 rupees, I don't think I'm going to be in a hurry to recommend it.
Okay, Mr. Sen, do you agree with that bit of generalization?
Anuj, I fully agree. And the more particularly the statement which Mehrabun has given about the results, which we see from these companies coming in. And apart from that, the market making, coupled with the results shown by those companies, coupled with that, the market making, which is done by maybe by the company sources or maybe the circles connected to that, that is seen very risky. Because if you come on the business model, since you have just asked me for the Quess Corp on the listing, if you see the business model, I don't think that is too exciting. Because even if you see for the team leads also, I don't know how far in such a wafer thin margin you can really exist. In fact, the margin has been seen better for Quess Corp. So I will be more comfortable with L&T Infotech again, as Mehrabun has said, from the listing gain. But I won't be hesitating in giving even a time call. Also, those who can hold it for 6 to 8 months, they can do well, because now my management have pulled up the stocks and they know that they have to perform in the IT industry to prove themselves. So maybe I'm not too positive on Quess Corp, because so many risks are involved because of the momentum which we may see tomorrow, whether that really exists for the near term or not.
Okay, gentlemen, we'll have to end this discussion on that note. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, our closing bell money control question of the day